Hello and welcome to day 12 of our 14-day roller coaster road trip across America's amusement parks. Back in the summer we visited Six Flags Great Adventure for the park's 50th anniversary season. When we booked our trip we didn't know that the new for 2024 roller coaster would be delayed until 2025, and by the end of the year 2 roller coasters would be unceremoniously axed, including the legendary Kingda car, which has been the tallest roller coaster in the world for 19 years since it opened in 2005. So how was the park operating, and how long did we stay, and what do I really think of my last rides on Kingda car? Hey, this is Stu for Out and Back Travel. I make videos like this one in the hopes that it can inspire your own theme park adventures. If you do enjoy the video or find it helpful in some way, please help me out by smashing that like button, thank you. You join us on day 12 of our summer 2024 USA roller coaster road trip. Back in the summer we snagged a fly drive package holiday bargain with Virgin Holidays, with our flights to Boston and 14-day car rental costing us the bargain price of £599 per person. From Boston we travelled up through New York State, along the shores of Lake Erie to Wisconsin, and then back down through Indiana to Ohio, and then on to Pennsylvania, where we start the day this morning. We visited Hershey Park yesterday and stayed over in the Harrisburg area. We will now take the just over 2-hour drive, that's 145 miles, to Great Adventure, which is located between Philadelphia and New York in New Jersey. Along the way we stopped at the Woodrow Wilson service area. The service station has always been a lesser spotted concept in the USA, so it's great to see them becoming a bit more widespread. This one was updated in 2022 by Apple Green, who we know back home as Welcome Break. In the old days of road trips you'd be stuck with the rest area, which only consisted of a vending machine and a haunted restroom. So it's great to see buildings and plumbing and actual nicer facilities, which make these long drives a bit more endurable. Arriving at Great Adventure just before a slightly lazier opening of 10:30 AM, thanks to the season pass level we had, we're allowed to use the VIP entrance, thankfully bypassing the regular turnstile, which was filled to the brim with school groups. With the merger of Six Flags and Cedar Fair, this benefit is still available in 2025 if you get the top level season pass or membership, but only if you now pay the Cedar Fair prestige price, not the old Six Flags Iron price sadly. We have been visiting Six Flags Great Adventure since 2002 and have always had enjoyable visits. The park is huge and has an impressive collection of roller coasters. Not to be too much of a Debbie Downer, but today was not an enjoyable visit, and we would leave the park after only 3.5 hours. We visited back in June 2024, just 1 month before the Six Flags and Cedar Fair merger was due to complete. I believe this was the reason the park was operating on what clearly was such a shoestring budget, with neither company being able to spend any large sums of capital until the merger was all finalised. Despite the park being full of people, we had one train operation on the coasters, lots of rides closed and some of them still in pieces from the winter maintenance, and staggered hours of operation for the rides. We had intended to ride the Jersey Devil first. This is the only notable new cred we needed to pick up, and it would be my first RMC single rail coaster, so it was a priority to tick this one off early. However, it wasn't ready for opening, so we hopped on the neighbouring Nitro. This is a fantastic B&M hypercoaster, lots of big up and downs with that crazy intense upward helix into the mid-course. Such a true classic coaster. It was sad to see Nitro only running one train, as usually this has a free train service and really hammers through the queues, so the line backed up to the entrance sign pretty quickly, so I'm so glad we ticked this one off early. Batman the Ride was next, which thankfully was a walk-on for anyone that's ever queued inside that horrid sweatbox of metal tunnels that lead up to the station. It's pretty unpleasant, so it's good when it is a walk-on, and it's great to see a 30-year-old B&M running so well. The forces really pull your feet off. There's a reason this coaster has so many clones all around the world. It's a certified classic. We tentatively kept edging back towards Jersey Devil in between these rides to see if there are any signs of her opening, but no progress of yet. So not wanting to venture too far away in case she did open, we did Skull Mountain, an enclosed Intamin coaster that used to be in the dark but now has some kind of random UV rave. I remember this one being quite good, but actually did nothing for me this time. It's just a bit bleh. By this point, we'd had quite the productive morning, managing to stay ahead of the lines for the coasters and getting a lot ticked off. Jersey Devil had started cycling and the team members confirmed it was going to open, so we joined the crowd that were pre-queuing for it, and in total we waited an acceptable 15 minutes to get on the ride. But the queue behind us, filling a horrendous cattle pen and spilling way out the entrance, we did well to get ahead of this. With only one train on the track, the line did take a while to move up, and the operators were being overly aggressive in trying to fill the seats, including splitting parties up. I'm all for filling seats, but maybe a single rider queue so at least people are volunteering for the service. Do feel it's unfair to split groups up that have queued together and want to experience the ride together, especially if, say, you've travelled from overseas to visit the park. So I bet you can guess where this is going. Our family got split up. The ride up was being a right dick about filling the seats, and he had one last seat on the train. He announced loudly that he was going to take someone out the line, in a manner like he was announcing a tribute for the next Hunger Games. I'm going to take eeny, meeny, miny, you, pointing at me. We were nowhere near the head of the line, by the way. I was shocked by this, and it took a moment to realise this was actually happening, during which time the partner I have access to volunteered to go as tribute. So the ride itself was just a little disappointing. It gave me no warmth or excitement. It was just kind of happening. The train bounced on the track like an over-enthusiastic kangaroo. This, together with the over-the-shoulder bra restraints, just made for a deeply uncomfortable ride. I do hear the Magic Mountain version is much better and the smaller models have a better reputation, so I need to get on those because this was a little disappointing for my first RMC single rail outing. During our day we kept encountering lots of closed attractions. Cyborg Spin was closed, the Runaway Train was closed, and El Toro was closed. The host said, "Oh, we always close El Toro on a Tuesday," which was really frustrating to hear. As if that was the case, just publish that you do that so we can all plan for a day when it's going to be open, or at least expect it going in. Some of the rides weren't even ready to open. The giant wheel had all its gondolas removed and the log flume was still in pieces, and Zumanjaro had its entrance boarded up. Some of the pathways were blocked off due to construction. It was kind of like being in the maze on the back of a kids menu. Nope, that's a dead end, and yeah, that path doesn't go anywhere. Also, the path by the log flume was closed due to the construction, meaning to get to Medusa you had to take a scenic detour around the side of El Toro. Let's take a look at what you could have won, eh? When we got to Medusa, we found out it was only open 12 till 7. I was absolutely fuming. The staff member who told us the pathway was closed and how to get around to Medusa didn't tell us that it wasn't open until 12, so we had a wasted hike to find it shuttered up. We did eventually get on Medusa. Back in the day I used to love this coaster, but she's really showing her age with a few lumps and bumps in the track along the way. Also, the painful one-train operations didn't help at all. By this point we were ready to call it a day. We were having a drink, just taking some time out to try and recuperate and rejuvenate our minds. But we decided to go to Dorney Park and get on their new Iron Menace. We were kind of making the decision, should we at least go on Kingda car as we are actually here and it's open? And I'm kind of lucky we did, as later that year it would be unceremoniously closed by the park. It's great to see the park built a shortcut between El Toro and Kingda car, which is obviously now completely pointless. So taking what would be our last rides on Kingda car, I have kind of no sentimental or warm fuzzy feelings, to be honest with you. I always prefer Top Rail Dragster due to the more comfortable lap bars, or even stealth back home, that ride's a lot more fun. Going 128 miles an hour on Kingda car was always kind of ridiculous, especially as you near the end of the launch track and start to pull up into the tower. The car starts to shake from side to side and things get a little blurry for me and I see stars. And it was just, that was a little too much for me and it always put me off riding. Regaining focus as you crested up the top hat and then the spiral back down, of course, was always an absolute riot. So it was fun and it was truly a legendary coaster. It was just sad to see it go before its time, as clearly this has been cut to make a saving on a spreadsheet, which is just depressing. With El Toro's shocking reliability, Great Adventure is now left without a true signature coaster, and whatever replaces Kingda car has big shoes to fill. It was sad to learn the park also removed their cable car ride. It's such a shame to lose transit systems in theme parks, especially ones that offered views from different heights and angles. So after just 3.5 hours, we were done with Six Flags Great Adventure. It was sad to see the park like this, and we didn't want to endure it anymore, so we made the decision to drive to Dorney Park, which is only 94 miles or 1.5 hours away. With a little late lunch along the way, we arrived at Dorney Park at 4:30 PM. With the park closing at 7, we had a good couple of hours to enjoy the park before it closed, which I'll go over in our next episode as we have a full day there tomorrow. So coming up next time, we're visiting another old friend in Dorney Park. He's finally got a new custom roller coaster after such a long drought. But has it worked out well for them, or is it a bit of a shaky start? And has reducing the trim brakes actually put the force back into steel force? In the future, I'll put together a summary episode with tips for planning your own roller coaster road trip, so if you do have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Thanks for watching if you have been, and until next time, stay safe on the way out and back.